The main card of UFC São Paulo, it's riddled with clashes of styles. This is the first one, Matt. Rodolfo Vieira back in 2015 won the ADCC World Championship at 75 kgs. Armen Petrosyan was an IFMA World Muay Thai champ. When you look at these two guys, Vieira is one of the best competition jiu-jitsu players of all time, and Armen Petrosyan's one of the Muay Thai players of all time. On his UFC bio, Petrosyan lists his hero as Giorgio Petrosyan, which is funny because Giorgio's brother's name is Armen Petrosyan, and Armen didn't want to go that way. So if you do look at this fight, Matt, Armen Petrosyan, the former Muay Thai champ, the former Fight Nights Global light heavyweight champ, and so far in his young UFC career, he's been an underdog in some of these matchups, and he's been able to show up to show out. Wins over Gregory Rodriguez, AJ Dobson, and a big spot against the former Cage Warriors champ, Christian Leroy Duncan, doing the striking. And Christian didn't really show up in that matchup. So, Matt, when you look at this one, Petrosyan going to look to keep this fight up, keep it standing. And for Rodolfo Vieira, you'll remember him for performance bonuses over Dustin Steitzfuss. Habas Magomedov was able to do that too. And Cody Brundage. Now, let's go back to Adolfo's last fight. Cody Brundage is going to look at it and see a tale of two different fights. Brundage drops Vieira in the first round. Second round starts. Rodolfo looking to get in there, getting squirrely, trying to get squirrely, get in close and get the takedown. Brundage obliges by pulling guillotine. Rodolfo gets up against the cage, arm triangle. That's all she wrote. Matt, Rodolfo Vieira, again, I've said this earlier on in the card, in for a penny, in for a pound. This guy will snatch your neck like it's nobody's business. And we've seen it from Vieira. We touched on this from the very start of it. Can he get hit? Sure. Can he get dropped? Sure. You even go back to his fight against Saparbeg Safarov as evidence where his eye swelled shut. He's able to get the takedown, get the submission, and didn't have to go from round 1 to round 2 for a doctor to look at it. Armen Petrosyan on the other side, he's been taken down. Gregory Rodriguez was able to do that. Even in some of those earlier fights, and I know we've touched on it, Armen's got one of those, but was that really a pro fight earlier on in his career that was brought into the record, where you have a record scratch on Fight Finder with Sherdog. But for Petrosyan, to his credit, if he gets taken down, we've seen him get back up. We've also seen Petrosyan look really crisp in the first round and then kind of wane as things go on. I think back to the third round against AJ Dobson where Mark Coleman's yelling, "Come on, AJ!" Mark Coleman. Yikes. But Petrosyan is a kicker to the nth degree, and on the back foot, he really does leave those spots to where if you can't get in, he will be there for that counter shot. So again, I can't stress it enough how big of a clash of styles this is, and it has to suck big time if Friday's weigh-in day and it's also your birthday. So happy birthday to Armen Petrosyan on weigh-in day. The morning's bad, but that night, I don't know if he has Lennox Lewis nights, but that night, gorge yourself with the food. Indulge.
I have a really hard time with this fight, and I kind of laughed when I saw that the odds were near even, because nobody has any idea what to do with this fight. You bring it up. There are a number of clash of styles on this main card, and this one does lead it off to quite the start, right? Because if Petrosyan's going to have any success, it's not going to be with his back on the mat. I can certainly tell you that. And I think both guys can have a cardio advantage by the third round. That was the only thing I wanted to say. Not that either guy has great cardio, but let's say Petrosyan can defend a lot of those takedowns with more of the footwork than him just trying to brute strength out of it with the underhooks. Then I do think his cardio is going to look a little bit better than a guy in Rodolfo who might have to shoot for those takedowns from longer away. But on the flip side, the exact same thing can be said for Rodolfo. If he's able to secure a couple early takedowns and really force Armen to get back up to his feet, because that's what he is really good at doing. And to his credit, he does work to try to get back up to his feet, but if Rodolfo's constantly grabbing those wrists and breaking him back down, it's just going to burn him out that much more, and that's why I think it's a weird fight, because both guys have an easy chance to win this in the first round. That's easy to say, right? Like, Petrosyan could win by first round knockout. It'd be crazy to see, but it could happen, and Rodolfo could win by first round stoppage. But by the third round, I think it could get a little weird, just depending on how the fight looked up until that point.
And everybody remembers third round Rodolfo Vieira chasing takedowns against Chris Curtis, but you might not remember against Brundage. He went 1 of 6 in takedown attempts in the first round. He got dropped in the first round, and that's still fresh. Now, for both of these guys in terms of their camps, you look at Armen Petrosyan at one point at American Top Team a little bit, cross-training, but for this one, Universal Fighters in Russia, and he's been training with Roman Kopylov and Anatoly Takov. And I think body-wise, Anatoly Takov's a little bit like Rodolfo Vieira. The guy's yoked up. and he beats most people over with Bellator. And for Rodolfo Vieira, always at Fusion XL, Brazil to Fusion XL, but he's been bouncing around, really training with a lot of highly regarded folks. You'll see maybe Lyoto Machida out there on his Instagram mixing it up a little bit. So Matt, when you do look at it, you kind of mentioned it. I mean, the odds are pretty well at par in this matchup. We'll have a look and see where they started. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. We'll get back to you on that one. But when it does come down to it, the ever important, the Topology votes, let's see what the fans are thinking. If it's close like that, I'm going to say over under 60%. I can't be your Superman. I can't be your Superman. I can't be your Superman. Armen Petrosyan. I'm going to say 60% over under Petrosyan.
I'm going to say over.
And It is over. 1,328 total votes. The fans, they've got Petrosyan. 73% with Petrosyan. 68% by decision for the 27% that have Vieira. 76% by submission. Matt, years ago, 1 studio ago, I went outside and I had my phone in my hand and I took a video of myself going, Rodolfo Vieira, like, this guy's so hot right now. And then he ended up losing to Fluffy Hernandez. I think Vieira clubs and subs his way into a win, years and years ago. It's got to be awkward when you lose a fight and you lose a fight so handily, and then on years later you fight on a card and that guy's there. Kyle Bahalio's that guy, Spider-Man meme for Armen Petrosyan. But years ago for Petrosyan, the fight against Hassan Yousafzai, who ended up with the PFL, that was how he lost his belt over there. So for me, I think it's going to be a fight like the Yousafzai fight. I think it's going to be a fight like the fight against Kyle Bahalio, and I think Vieira is going to be able to get himself into position early and get the win over Petrosyan.
I've also got Rodolfo in this matchup. People are probably going to roll their eyes at that because I feel like I've never picked Petrosyan on any of these videos. And this is a really close fight. It is one of the biggest clash matches that you will ever have. So if Petrosyan's going to win, he could win a 30-27 and look completely amazing if he's just able to keep it on the feet and make Rodolfo throw some of those long, sluggish shots from the outside. But I do think Vieira's going to be able to get his way to the inside because you bring it up. Rodriguez is able to take down Armen Petrosyan, and I don't think Rodriguez has the top game of a guy like Vieira. Rodolfo's heavy in that top spot when he's able to get it. Is he going to go 10 for 10 on his takedowns? Probably not. But when he's able to get that position, he does quite a bit with it. So I agree with you on the pick.
If Vieira flaps against that mat and doesn't get those takedowns, it could look really bad. And Petrosyan could be able to pull away. Let us know who you have in the matchup. Both of us going with Brazil's Rodolfo Vieira to get the win. We get some big time fights in this card. Almeida's taking on Derek Lewis. Another big clash of styles. You're not going to want to miss it. Keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks. We always say, let's get into it.